Why do I care about your
Zen,
feelings, sir?
Zen,
Like, why do I
can
care? Yeah, imagine saying
Hold
to
on.
me, imagine coming on here and having the gall to be like, you would eat this animal you had no connection to whatsoever. I do it every single day. Yeah, it's not a problem for me. Right? What do you mean?
Am I allowed to ask a question to the moderator?
Yeah, go ahead.
Zen, are you friends with Andrew?
I would say so, yeah.
Does it slightly concern you that Sue is in Andrew's care and he would not give a shit if someone Sue's throat if she was born in a different household to his, or born like in the Chinese meat industry?
I have to try to be neutral, but what I would say, and I think this is fair to say, is that the only reason that dog is named Sue is because it's Andrew's dog. If it was in the Korean dog industry, it wouldn't even have a name.
Yeah, well, its name would be Food A.
No, but
or Food B.
But
or
Sue
Food
would,
C.
But Andrew, Sue would still be a sentient being who I'm sure you value Sue for other reasons than the fact that she is in your house.
I value her 100% based on the utility that she gives me as a companion, but that's my own personal perception. My own personal feelings has nothing to do with how much I value the dog morally or not morally.
So if Sue gave nothing to you, you would be okay with someone you mentioned in your opening statement someone puppies in their backyard and you didn't care.
Yeah,
if someone Sue in their backyard in a sack, you just wouldn't care if you'd never met Sue.
If I had no personal connection to the animal.
Yes.
Yeah. Why would I care? They take cows and They take cows in slaughterhouses. Like, you're asking me if you had a cow named Sue, right? And you ate hamburgers in front of it, which I would do, by the way. Okay. You're asking me if you never had any connection to Sue and that cow was the one who ended up in the slaughterhouse, you wouldn't care. The answer would unequivocally be yes, I wouldn't care. And by the way, while you might think that this is some strange, not only is this not an own, but it's a very, very odd way to even frame something. Nobody cares, man. Right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They eat bacon like people will eat bacon in front of their pigs. They don't care.
Right, but do you care that Sue would be in a sack in someone's back garden if she wasn't yours?
No, I don't care. There's no moral. Listen, it happens all the time. People who train dogs, if they want to keep the line pure, will often take puppies that have something that's impure in them, and then and you know why they do that? Because they don't want impurities in the seeing eye for the blind animals, for instance. Let's say they have to have a completely pure animal in order to train it properly. So in order to keep the purity high, they'll the puppies literally in a bucket. Now, I see maximum utility in those animals being purebred so that they can guide the blind around, meaning that if they are getting the puppies are getting in a bucket, I don't care. Also, beagles have heinous experiments done on them in order to figure out whether or not antibiotics will be effective. But that's of great interest to humanity. So I also don't care.
So let's say Zen breaks into your property and Sue's throat. Your only problem there is that Zen has broken into your property. You don't really care that Sue's throat is being.
I'm sorry, repeat the question. I want to make sure I get it correct.
If Zen was to break into your property and he was to slit Sue's throat because he liked the taste of her body, your only problem with what Zen did was that he's broken onto your property, so it's a crime against your property rights, and he Sue's throat, and that's a crime against you because Sue is yours.
Interestingly enough, not only would that be my position, but it would be the position of the law itself, who does not see Sue as anything other than a piece of my property, like a stereo, and would assess it as such.
And that's the way you see Sue. She's just like a stereo. She doesn't have any moral value aside from the fact that she's in your house.
Yeah, it's just whatever I decide to assign her, but she doesn't have, there's no great importance of her anywhere else. Nobody should assign any additional moral value. They shouldn't weep for Sue's death, even if they might weep for me because I have feelings about it.
So if
and they're sad for their friend, you know.
Well, hold on, Andrew. If Sue died, in fact, if someone drowns,
by the way, all
Sue
of these
in
are
a sack,
emotional appeals. None of them are arguments, just so you know. But go ahead.
they're not emotional appeals. I'm talking about Andrew. If someone Sue in a sack, you don't think that would be immoral?
No, I think it would be immoral because it's a crime against me. But if you're saying I'm out of the picture, if it's like Sue's a stray or something like this, there's no owner, there's no crime. I don't assign any moral value to animals, none. And what I'm keep asking you, because you're like, I want to convince you, I keep on asking you why I should. And you keep on making an assertion. Well, wait a second. Are you saying if somebody came in and, you know, kicked over your grandma's ashes, are they doing something immoral? It's like, tell me why it's immoral, right? I'm asking you why, to give me a reason, not to just endlessly give me assertions. I don't care about the assertions. I want an argument.
Okay, Andrew, the problem is, if I can't even convince you that someone Sue's throat would be immoral, how the am I going to convince you that slitting cows?
Well, this is an important question, because your big fight, according to you, is to convince the vast majority of the planet which eat meat that eating meat is bad. And yet most people on the planet agree with me and assign almost zero moral value to animals who are raised for the purposes of consumption. None. If they have no personal connection to the animal, they don't care about the animal. So while at the same time you try to criticize me, your entire job is supposed to be, how can I convince you today, right? And you haven't even levied a single criticism at me. Just ask me what I would do in a situation, but have not levied what I would do in the situation is bad. Why is it bad?
Andrew, the criticism is a reductio. You have said if someone Sue's throat, the only crime would be against you and your property rights or whatever. That's crazy.
Well, you keep saying that. Understand, assertions aren't arguments. Just saying, I think it's crazy that you think the other way. What would you consider it? Would you consider it? Should the guy go to jail for one capital punishment, George?
Andrew, if someone Sue's throat,
answer my question, George.
Yes, I'm answering it. Andrew,
is he going to go to doggy prison?
Well, hold on, you haven't let me answer.
Answer.
Andrew, if someone Sue's throat, yes, they should go to prison.
No, should they go to prison for, like you would go to prison for of a human? And if not, how many dogs would they need to in order to go to prison for, like, capital? How many, George?
I don't know about the years, but they should definitely be punished. Do you not agree that they should be punished?
Well, you're not answering my question. Should they get the same first-degree punishment that a human being gets?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, okay. If somebody came in and they killed my wife,
yes,
versus someone came in and killed my dog, would be wrong with that? Should they get the same? Andrew, should they get the same punishment?
Andrew, what would be wrong with someone breaking into your property in your wife's throat?
My wife is a human being. She has value. I assign moral value to human beings, not to animals.
Why does she have value and Sue doesn't?
Well, hang on. I'll get to that. And I think it's an important question, but I still need you to answer mine. You just keep evading it one more time.
I haven't evaded anything.
You say I'm crazy because I say that I would treat this.
I didn't say you were crazy.
Yes, you did. Let me finish.
No. Andrew,
you said
your point was crazy.
Well, let's let hang on. Sorry, a lot of crosstalk. Let's let Andrew get the question out clearly. Let's try to let George get his answer out, and then continue from there.
You said that I should treat this in some way other than a property crime, which the law, by the way, doesn't even do, and nor should they, because they would have to assign some type of moral characteristics to the animals that are equivalent to human beings. They judge it in a completely different light. So I'm going to ask you again, George, if the punishment shouldn't be the same, then you value animals less morally than human beings as well. So do dogs go to jail for do you go to jail first degree for killing a dog just like you would if you kill a human or not, George?
That's a straw man of the whole vegan position.
I'm asking you a direct question.
Andrew, hold on. The vegan position is not that every single human or animal should be valued in the exact same way. It's just that animals have moral value. But hold on. Andrew.
What? Wait. So what happens? So what should happen? How should you judge a crime? Shouldn't you judge it by it being property? Property that was destroyed? How else would you judge it?
Property?
Well, how would you judge it?
Wait, hold on, Andrew. Property? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why is property? That would be an act of vandalism.
That's
We're
what
not
it's.
talking here. No,
That's
Andrew.
what it's classified as
No,
now. How would
Andrew.
you classify it?
Andrew, we're not talking here about someone walking into your house and kicking the TV. We're talking about here someone walking into your house and a sentient being's throat, whether it's your dog's or your wife's. You don't have to value your dog and the wife is the same. That's not the vegan position. So that's just
Didn't
a
say it
straw man
was.
of the vegan. Hold on.
I'm not. Am I addressing the entire vegan position, or am I addressing you specifically in your position?
But that is not the vegan position.
Don't care about the vegan position. I'm asking you.
I know you don't care
question.
about the vegan position, but the point is you said that going into your house and either your dog's throat would just be a crime against property.
Yeah. How else would you judge it? That's what I'm asking you.
It's a crime against that being, that individual.
So what should the penalty be? Is it equivalent to the penalty you would give a human being, or is it going to be a lesser penalty?
It doesn't matter because the whole vegan argument.
It doesn't matter, huh?
It doesn't.
And you think I'm the crazy one? Why should it be assigned?
I never said you were the crazy one.
Why should it be assigned as
something? I don't think, Andrew, I don't think you're personally crazy. I think the position is crazy.
Is it?
Yes.
Would it be okay if it's? Why would you assign it a different type of than a human being, or would you?
As in the dog?
Yeah.
If we were to define what was, well, firstly, I do think it's
okay. I think you and I have the same definition of. We can skip right past that. So since you the dog, you consider it right, just like you came in and a human being. Yes. So what should the penalty be? Should it be equivalent or lesser than?
Andrew, it doesn't matter. Why does it matter what the penalty should be?
Here's why it matters.
That's just a very convenient way. That's such a convenient way to just say, oh, your point is silly. Because,
it is silly.
You don't know the exact number of years it would be.
No. Here's why it's silly. I'll literally paint you a verbal picture, George. It's silly because I say that the crime is against property that's owned by a person. That's the only way it could ever be judged, because nobody could actually give moral value to an animal. You say that's not true. So I ask you what the moral value set should be, and you're like, I don't know. So why should I take you seriously, George?
You should take me seriously because I actually assign Sue moral value because she's a sentient being who doesn't want to have her throat.
Then tell me what the punishment should be.
And Sue is in your house and you're here, Andrew, saying, oh, she's just property, and the only reason that it's bad is that she's property, and that's why and that's why it's bad.
Try to understand this in your head. I'm going to try to help you out here.
Go on.
So I have an emotional connection to that dog.
Yep.
But I also have emotional connections to other things as well that are not my, like for instance, my brother, after he passed, I got his guitar. I have a very deep-seated emotional connection to that. Somebody came in and broke the guitar. They are not going to get a greater punishment than what they would get for breaking anybody's random guitar, regardless of my emotional regardless of my emotional investment in the guitar. The same exact thing applies to your animal. Regardless of your emotional investment in the animal, there's no greater penalty that's going to happen to you other than that your property was destroyed by somebody else, no matter how much you loved it. That's the way that this operates in the law currently. And it makes a lot of sense because we don't give animals moral preference the same way that we do human beings. You say inside the vegan position, you agree with that. Fair enough. So I'm asking you, since you consider it to be, though, and you and I likely have the same definition of, can you explain to me what the punishment should be? Should it be equal or not equal to a person?
Hold on. Are you comparing Sue to a guitar?
No, I'm drawing an analogy. I'm just making an analogy of things that you can emotionally value, and that if somebody assaults the thing you emotionally value, it doesn't make the thing more valuable.
Yeah, but do you think Sue has more moral value than a guitar?
No, I don't think she has any more. No, I consider her property. Again,